What's up, guys? What's up, what's up, what's up? What's up, Peter? As you guys can see, I did trade a little bit pre-markets, which I don't know why I do it. I just thought it looked really good in this area. I bought the pullback looking for continuation. I got off the low and then added for the breakout for the break of 630, and it failed, stopping out for pretty much a pretty small loss, but it is what it is. All right, we can go through the scans in just a moment. We'll just wait another minute for people to get in, and we can kind of go through the scans. Okay, let's go through here. The scanner. You're up. Wow, 400. Wow, Peter. Damn, 471 at LRHC. Nice job. Yeah, this was a beautiful breakout here. I did see this breakout. I should have gotten in on the pullback, and then it made its move, and then I waited for the bigger pullback down here. I did time this really well, and then I started sizing up into the breakout. I thought this would be strong, but I guess it was a little bit too extended. It kind of makes sense now because we came off the low of 181, so up 250% in just a few minutes. Yeah, sizing up for the break at 630, and then I stopped out around 585 or so as it didn't resolve. But you know, it is what it is. I was able to keep that loss tight. And, you know, pre-markets, you know, usually I don't like to trade pre-markets unless something looks really good. I thought LRHC would be that one stock that really goes crazy pre-market because recently we've been seeing a lot of great pre-market moves. We might still see LRHC continue I guess we can go over this one first. So the news is company acquires 7th real estate brokerage franchise with revenue of $1.4 million and positive cash flow in 2023. So that's great news. We can take a look at the float and the volume profile. Let's see here. Let's see, dilution. LRHC. Okay, so 4.08 million share float. So, perfect, decently low float, kind of right in our range that we like to look at. It looks like there's no offerings that are currently in progress or that are registered, so that's good. So there's no offerings looming overhead, so that could give longs a little bit more confidence and holding moves a little bit longer. So that could really contribute to a much bigger sustained move. But of course, nothing is guaranteed. And we have news on the day. This is low float, kind of right in our price range. So, I like this one so far. And plus, we have the daily chart. The daily chart, we're above key levels on the daily chart. So it looks like we IPO'd back in October. The IPO price around, or the high of that day, of the IPO day, was $552. So we already broke over that level and now currently reclaiming the highs. So we could see some continuation on LRHC. I'd love to see this maybe rip to 10 or 15. That would be really nice. I think a lot of traders are going to be looking at this because of that daily chart, the lack of overhead resistance. We have the low float. We don't have any offerings looming overhead. And we also have news. And it's a good price range. And the spread does not seem to be too wide, about 2 to 5 cents on average, which is fine. 2 to 5 cents on a $5 stock or $6 stock is fine. Sometimes you'll see like a 10 cent or a 15 cent spread on a $5 stock, and that's where it starts to get real hairy with scalping the strategy, because if you get a bad fill, you're instantly taking like a 5% loss on your position. But it's good that we have decently tight spreads on this stock. So I think a lot of people are going to be watching this here at the open. So I'm going to keep this one as my main stock. Then the next stock here, VERO. VERO, this one has looks like 5 million outstanding. Let's check the float. 3.84 million share float on VERO. Looks like we have warrants, but the exercise price is at $37.50. So we don't need to worry about that until it gets over at $37.50, which probably won't be today. And there's also convertible stock warrants at 52. So that won't come into play today probably. And that's only 375,000 warrants. And warrants can be just think of shares. So 375,000 shares. So convertible preferred. Okay, so it looks like conversion price at 267. So we did come up to that 267 mark and had some resistance. So we probably will have some resistance on this one because of the convertible preferred. Let's see here. So it looks like they can convert up to 2.6 million shares. And then another one for 2.1 million shares after the price crosses 267. Yeah, so they could dilute shares after price is over $2.67 and $3 and $20. So they could liquidate. Yeah, there's a lot of overhead on this. There's potential liquidation, high potential for liquidation on VERO. So this is going to have, this is going to be not very strong at the highs. I have a feeling it's not going to be very strong at the highs. I actually don't like this at all for the continuation setups. I'm going to just put this in here. Okay, so Vero, prefer not to trade that one. I don't think it's going to be very nice. Easy FL, because a lot of longs are not going to be able to trust it because of that potential liquidation, because who's going to want to buy the stock, you know, when it's already up 50%, 60%, 70%, when if they do that liquidation, you know, the stock's just going to drop another 50% and they're going to be underwater. So easy FL, this one already too far off the highs. It looks like it's just reporting revenue on the day. It looks like the market's not really responding very well. If we can get over VWAP, I'd be interested. But like I said, it's already 50% off the highs from 442 down to 213. That's usually not a sign of a very strong stock. The volume seems to be very inconsistent. It doesn't seem to be very high. You can take a look at the daily chart. It does not look, I guess it doesn't look too great. 504 is the high. No, that's just that year. Yeah, so, you know, downward trends. Going to be a lot of overhead resistance on EasyFL. I don't like it. So far, I still like LRHC. EGRX. EGRX. Again, another one that's just sold off way too much off the high. Announces exercise of warrants for 4.8 million gross proceeds. Is that even good news? Oh, okay, so a certain, let's see here. Today announced the entry into definitive agreement for the immediate exercise of certain outstanding warrants purchased up to an aggregate of 3.8 million shares of common stock. Having the exercise of price reduced. Oof, that sucks. Oof. Okay, so what happened here was they issued in 2022 and 2023, they issued warrants to warrant holders with an exercise price of $369, but they reduced the exercise price to $125. So anyone holding from $369 these warrants, they can exercise their warrants over $125, which could put downward pressure on the stock. But you know, are these people going to even exercise their warrants at $125? If they do, they're going to be taking a $2 loss. They're going to be taking a $2 loss. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are just going to bail on that investment because they're already down so much and they're just betting against the stock, which is probably why we're seeing that downward trend. But yeah, I don't think that AGRX is going to be the one either. It just does not look good. Okay, VRO, MNPR. MNPR is another one. This one, very choppy. Doesn't look like we have any news. Oh no, it looks like we do have news. Reports in-house radiopharmaceutical development team was able to significantly increase tumor uptake of MNPR drug while minimizing uptake in healthy tissue. So, you know, decent news. The one thing I don't like about this is, didn't we just trade this the other day? Yeah, so we do have some potential longs trapped. So if longs are trapped, they're going to want to use this either to take their losses or get out for a break even. We've already squeezed out a fair share of shorts. Maybe we'll see another pop. But unless this really starts to close over like 120, I mean, I'll watch it if it goes over 110 to make a new high, but we still have this overhead resistance, so we don't know if longs are going to bail and put downward pressure on the stock or if it's going to cause a short squeeze. So it really depends on the candle formation and, you know, the levels. Are we going to be able to hold the highs? If we can hold highs up in 120, 130, have a decent consolidation, you know, increasing volume, then we might be able to see a break in 156. But until I see strength on this, I'm going to be very risk averse on this because I don't want to be caught in a flush. But, you know, this one did make a decent move from 30 cents up to 156 MNPR. Not too bad. It might have tight halt levels as well because it did close under 75 cents. It's also another thing to keep in mind. But I'm going to be watching LRHC. It's going to be my main watch. It's already up, though, almost 300%. So we'll see if it does have any more juice. Like I said, the daily chart, you know, can continue because there is no resistance. It really depends if the bulls are strong today. If the bulls are all on the same page, if the bulls are all on the same page in the right areas, we'll get some good momentum. That really comes down to that. And if all traders are dialed in and laser focused in on one stock, that's how we can see some massive moves. But when attention is scattered, when there's so many things popping up, so much moving, there's not enough concentration of longs to really push up a stock and hold those highs and continue higher. That's why in very hot markets, a lot of the times, yeah, everything is moving. There's opportunity everywhere, but a lot of the stocks, you'll see a massive pop, and then it can't even hold the dip, and it comes right flying past down, and that's how people take massive losses. Because you get these FOMO from these massive moves, and then they go straight up, and they come faster coming down. And you know, sometimes hot days are my biggest red days because of that. I usually do well when everyone's kind of focused on one stock that is clear. You know, everything is ticking every single box. You know, news. You know, daily chart is pretty decent. Float is low. Decent price range. Decent spread. You know, if we can check all those boxes, you know, volume profile, if we can check all those boxes, usually everyone starts to kind of get zoned in on that stock. So hopefully you can see that in LRHC. All right, I'm going to, let's see here. All right, I'm going to shut down the stream early. I do need to go to the bathroom, so I want to get that done here before the open. I do have 8 minutes, but thank you guys for tuning in for the pre-market pump. If we do see a decent day, I'm definitely going to do a recap. Hit that thumbs up button here for me on the way out. Also, if you're new, consider subscribing. I'd also love to have you a part of the community in the Discord, so join the Discord. Link will be in the description. And I'll leave the disclaimer up here while I go to the bathroom in case anyone wants to look at the disclaimer. But day trading is risky. I'll be right back. All right, LHRC, LRHC. Let's see here. I can pull out these levels. Oof. Oh man, I'd like some sort of hot sauce or something. It's like, oof, man. All right, let's get everything set up here. Let's stay calm, cool, and collected today. We're not gonna, chase any stocks. We're gonna stay disciplined. We're gonna cut our losers. We're gonna get in at the right areas. We're gonna wait for the proper pullbacks. We're gonna wait for the key breakout levels. We're not going to follow the rules. We're not going to be undisciplined. And today has a potential to be a pretty decent day. If really one of these stocks can get some decent volume. Mainly the key at the open is I wanna find a stock that everyone is looking at. What is the stock that everyone's looking at? I want to follow the volume at the open. So that's why a lot of times at the open for the first minute, I kind of put out some feelers. Sometimes a stock that I think that was going to be good, like yesterday MOTS, was actually not good, and that's where I stop trading it and I just wait for the next stock that's like, where's the volume? Where is volume just freaking flying in? That's where I want to be. I don't want to be trading these other stocks that are just barely getting any volume. I want to trade the hottest stock on the day. That's where I'm going to make the most money. And yesterday, last minute, I thought I was trading MOTS at 9:30. 9:30 comes along and it just dumps, and there's no volume. And I look over for another stock. I was like, all right, I got to figure something else out here. What's moving? The VTYX starts popping up, and I saw the volume just spiking. And even though it was a larger float, because of the volume, I was still able to make a decent move. So, being able to pivot like that and making those decisions, even though you didn't plan for it, is also very important. Because a lot of times, what you saw pre-market is not going to translate over to the market open. What was hot pre-market sometimes just flushes right out of the open. It's not tradable. And then sometimes stocks that just had no pre-market chart are flying at the open. So I'm going to give LRHC, I want to see the volume profile. If volume profile is, let's say, like 1 to 2 million, and it's like the highest of every stock here in the market, then I will be trading this. Likely aggressively too. So hope you guys can get green today. Stay disciplined, stay calm, cool, and collected. Don't force anything. Stay, follow your rules, follow your max loss rules. Cut your losers. Take your winners when you have them. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Good luck.